institutionalized racism from the government, or from the belief of that in the police
what's perceived
department?
as institutionalized racism, and of course, it's like if your son's been killed, you're gonna you don't know why he was killed, and activists and people that are supporting you are shouting, well, it must be racism because your son's black and the cops that shot him are white. Emotion, is the enemy of logic, isn't it? So people will conclude all sorts of things, if they don't know.
But police forces all around the world do have a history of institutional racism.
Well, I think that is a massive oversimplification. It's like, I said this to someone, so Errol Walker, I shot Errol Walker, a black man, because he'd murdered a black woman and was in the process of stabbing a black girl, a 4-year-old black girl. The next time I got involved in a shooting, it was 3 white guys, And at that time in history, as I've mentioned earlier, gun crime was predominantly a white-collar crime, that by organised teams of white criminals robbing security vans and banks. Not always, there were some black guys doing robberies, but by far and away it was a white crime problem. Then we had a shift in history where all of a sudden gun crime was nothing to do with robbing banks and security vans. It was about black-on-black shootings. It was about one gang, turf wars between, postcodes. And so naturally, when police get to interact with those people and try to arrest them, we're now dealing with suspects who are predominantly black. So that's why, it made, to me, in the documentary, Lee Jasper, a black activist, was trying to make out that it was a racist thing. There was nothing racist about it. I shot Azelle Rodney because at that moment in time, in that split second when I made the decision to fire, I felt that he posed a threat to my colleagues. If it had been a team of white guys going to rob some black guys or going to rob some Colombian guys, then I would have still come to that same conclusion,
But you understand why they say it. And
I understand why they say it, but also there's, I think the problem is it's just become a call.
But these incidents lately do happen to black people, not white people, whether it's Mark Duggan or if you look at, Black Lives Matter in the States, it's just almost hard to ignore it at this point.
Well, it is, but then also if you look at the statistics, a young black man in the United States is massively more likely to be shot by another young black man than he is by a police officer. It's like, well, if Black Lives Matter, and I understand the concern, and and you look at, I'm like you, I look at some videos and you go, but I always know there's another side to that story. It's never quite as simple as it looks. But yes, you look at some stuff on YouTube and you go, hey, how can you justify that? But if there is, if there's a gun crime, and a big crime problem within certain communities, and the police are trying to deal with it, of course Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, but if they matter that much, why is it that young black men are killing young black men on an industrial scale, over a bit of turf, or a bit of disrespect?
Do you ever take a bird's eye look on the whole thing and just say this is some kind of an economic prison where people are just brought up in these situations?
Well, you're absolutely right. And the reality is that the cops are just the guys that are at the coalface. The reason why so many young black males kill other black males in inner city areas with deprivation and everything else has got a whole thing, stuff to do with economy, education. It's just the cops are the guys that are there dealing with it, with the aftermath of it or whatever.
Right. So we sleep in our beds at night. We pay you to do the dirty work. And that you must feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, I think there's some truth in that. That it's like, well, we want you to do the job, but we don't really want to know how you do it. And
I never heard.
It's always been a bit of a no-win situation, police work, really.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.